From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoons LALATE with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In today's recording, a lot of breaking news. We'll be going over that monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we'll be going to the deal. Done. Deal. You're getting $3.5 trillion of checks. I'll go over some of these checks you're getting in the fourth stimulus package recon. A lot of checks for seniors, workers, and people across the board, including free internet. It's all incredible great news, and you're going to hear it on this afternoon's LA broadcast. Then we go to the vote, the final 15 and the final 7. We're less than 7 days away, potentially, with the conclusion of the fourth stimulus package deal. And I'll go over the deal, the vote, the bills, and what's anticipated for next week. It's going to be a really jam-packed week. And there's a lot of permutations about what could happen. There's rumors of a plan B. I'll go over whether there is a plan B or not. I'll go over what the backup plan is confirmed in a series of other reports. And I'll go over what you need to know going into next week. Then we go to the exciting details of fifth stimulus, which is this fall. Raising your benefits up, as promised by the president, but now being taken care of by congressional leaders, SSI, SSDI, and my veterans. Yes, very exciting news. And then we turn to the big money across the board, as one viewer reveals she got $18,000 of rent from this channel in the last 48 hours. I'm so excited for her. She joins Nisi, who got $23,000, Louis, who got $18,000 for Snap, and John, who got $10,000 for his family. I'm going to go over how you get this big money, because it's a big afternoon. It's a big day. And I'm excited you're here. We're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to have a lot of information, and we're going to get to the breaking news starting right here, right now, on Afternoons LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful weekend, and this is Afternoons LA. I am so excited for you. The weather cooled down, then heated up, then got absolutely horrible this morning here in LA. I literally think I'm in Miami Beach. It feels like it's 9,000 degrees humidity and a massive storm is about to come in. If it rains, you'll see it in my hair. You'll see it in my clothes. I'll be just drenched. I'll be recording in the rain. Not singing in the rain, stimulus in the rain. So there you go. Jump in the live chat and tell me how you're doing, how the weather is, and where you're tuning in from. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today, a lot of breaking news, and it's a big weekend going into a big week, probably the most eventful week you've seen in the history of a fourth stimulus. We'll be going over the bill. We'll be going over the checks, why likely to get more checks from those Democrats. Then we'll go over the deal. Done. You're getting $3.5 trillion of checks. That's a finale. So congratulations. You're getting $3.5 trillion of checks. So the next few months, I'll be ensuring you get these checks. But I'm going to give you a preview of some of the items of these checks you're getting in for stimulus recon. And then we go over everything that's happening next week. There's about 5,000 permutations about what could happen. But we do have a confirmed vote. We do have a confirmed bill, and that would tee up another vote. And it would likely get us all to the finish line. But there's rumors of one backup plan and rumors of another backup plan. I have all the details for you as well. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raised your benefits up, as the president had promised during the campaign trail, but yet to deliver. Well, the great news is the Democrats are taking care of it, and they're putting in fifth stimulus this fall. This is everyone from my SSI to my SSDI and my veterans. Congratulations. And then finally, the big money across the board. You saw it in the opening teaser. One viewer in the last 48 hours got $18,000 for rent. Boy, I think that's the second biggest payout we've seen in this channel in the last 30 days, after Nisi, who got $20,000, John, who got $10,000 to $12,000 for Snap, and Louis, who got $18,000. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning and taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Evenings LALATE at 5 o'clock. Then Sirloin at 8 o'clock always on this channel. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers of YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video. 3,000 likes. Every like helps. And consider becoming a member. And if you heard the breaking news yesterday, this channel is expanding its coverage. In the next 30 to 60 days, you will see this channel expand in its amount of programming. So you'll literally go no less than 2 hours without a new show debuting every 2 hours. Yes, there's a lot more programming coming to this channel. And hit that subscribe button. Let's go right to this monthly stimulus check. More about that new programming schedule later in this recording. So monthly stimulus checks, everything sort of changed because of Delta. And this was unanticipated. Pandemic plus 1 year House bill. That is a stimulus check from those House Democrats as a bill. Pandemic plus 1 year, we had thought 4 weeks ago that the pandemic was over and the legislators would just give us 12 months of checks. Then 3 weeks ago, we thought, well, the pandemic maybe is not over because LA was starting to voluntarily reverse mask mandates. 3 weeks ago, we thought the pandemic is not over as LA reversed mask mandates. 2 weeks ago, we realized the pandemic is definitely not over because Delta cases were rising in 50 states. And now we believe the pandemic is 100% not over. Well, what does that mean for us? Coming back to that in a second. House Bill 1000 after the first month, 2000. Senate amount, monthly unknown is unknown. Monthly amount for those senators is unknown. But word on the street is this. Deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400. When we were back 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, we said, well, maybe the pandemic's over. And those legislators for the House, Jollapal and company, may only give us 12 months of checks because pandemic plus 1 year may get just reduced to 1 year. But now that the pandemic's clearly not over, that means that the House bill would amount to more than 12 checks, which would amount to more than $13,000. Let's compare that to this. I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate. House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in from. And how is this weather going on where you are? I know my place, it's sort of muggy. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? Democrats represent that if you got a third stimulus check, you get a fourth stimulus check. Single individuals, $75,000 less. Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 less. Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Double it. A family of four, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, congratulations, you're getting a fourth stimulus check. SSI, SSDI, VA. The fourth stimulus check is not income. It's not taxable. The fourth stimulus check will be the same amount for adult dependents and everyone else. The fourth stimulus check is not a waivable check. So if you are at the beach recording for a YouTube channel, as I was last Sunday, don't fall for the comments of your viewers as I did. One viewer said, hey, LALATE, is that the check on the beach behind you as you're recording? I turned and I said, oh, it is. Hey, Check, how you doing? It's me, LALATE. How you doing? Check didn't recognize me. I mean, come on. Don't you know who I am? The purple shirt and all that. Didn't recognize me. Rude, Check. Don't ask for an autograph. Not that a check has hands. Rude check. The viewer said, it's not a rude check, LA. It's just not a waivable check. I've seen your shows. Okay, sorry. There you go. First check will come in the month of July for the month of July. It's still a rude check. Get in the month of August for the month of August. I'll go over in the second part of this video the wonderful great news. It's incredible great news. You're getting checks. 3.5 trillion of them. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people in the fourth stimulus package. This is incredible great news. The fourth stimulus has been agreed upon on principle of passage and also agreed upon on price tag. So you're getting $3.5 trillion of checks. Not a check to go buy a Rolls Royce. And I have seen some of the comments. Some people are like, I want a check to go buy a car. I'm sorry, that's the wrong channel. Parodies not writing you a check to get you a car. But there's $3.5 trillion of checks for other stuff that's coming to you from the federal government, not for that car. So that's coming up in the second half of this video. Then in the third part of this video, we go over the final 15 of the final 7, the most important 7 days of fourth stimulus we have ever seen. We have a bill, we have a vote, we have a date, we have another bill, and we have another day. And then we have 2 potential backup plans. I got to cover that all in 15 minutes. Oh boy, am I going to fly through that one because that's a lot of news. And it's all breaking on this afternoon's LA broadcast. But first, here's a preview of the second part of this video, a fifth stimulus. The president promised to raise your benefits up. He did not deliver, but now the House and Senate Democrats are taking care of you. Yes, congratulations. I'll go over that breaking news. And what happened with the Treasury yield? What happened with the labor numbers this week? Did it impact your benefits under fifth stimulus? Ooh, it's exciting details. But first, let's get some money. You saw that opening teaser. A new viewer in the last 48 hours got on Instagram, sent me a beautiful DM, said she got $17,000 for rent because of this channel. Let's just give her applause. I mean, that is incredible. That's probably the second largest payout we've seen for rent on this channel in the last 60 days. Nisa got $20,000. John got $10,000 to $12,000 for these enormous sum of money. What's going on? This is what this channel does. Get a pen and paper ready because I'm going to get you $10,000 to $20,000 because that's what viewers are getting. Get a pen and paper ready. We're going to go over rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and also homeowners' utilities. First, if you got rent from this channel, post in the live chat right now. Initially, I said I can get you $5,000 of rent. Well, the viewers like Nisi, $20,000. The viewer like this on Instagram, $17,000. Then I said for utilities, I can get you $300. Viewers are now getting $3,000 daily. When I talked about Snap, I said I can get you $5,000 to $6,000 because I got a lot of viewers that amount. Now viewers are getting $10,000 to $12,000 like John. Congratulations, John. And then Louis, $18,000. Oh my goodness. So this is what we do. We cash checks here. We don't track checks. In April of last year, this channel launched because people were not getting their EIDL loans or their EIDL grants. There was no check to track. It wasn't coming. But I stepped in, I got $25 million of EIDL loans and grants approved. Cash those checks. In fall of 2020, second stimulus checks were not coming. There was no check to track. They had not passed it. But I got viewers $250,000 of rent, like Tyrone, a family of 4 out of Boston, $15,000 of checks to cash. Now we're doing the same. So get that pen and paper ready. If it's a Crayola crown, it's not muddled because this is not muddled. Don't muddle with me. Here we go. We're going to reach out to different places. Each place has different eligibility. If one says no, reach out to the next. And you ready? Here we go. City Hall. You're going to reach out to your City Hall, your City Housing Authority. Your County Hall, your County Housing Authority. Your State Hall, your State Housing Authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. Or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or Mitch's popularity. They don't know those things. No one knows those things. Do they exist? No, that's why they don't know it. And there you go. Congratulations, Tim and Linda, who got this wonderful pot of money. The next pot of money is the money coming back from Snap. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, Gail as well, and of course, John with $10,000 to $12,000 and Louis with $18,000. Congratulations. Just a great job you're doing. If you got to Snap, post in the live chat right now. What is Snap? It's money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. What is the eligibility? About easier than a stimulus check. How much does it pay? A fortune. A family of 4 out of Boston out of Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Wow, why so much money? Because of 2 executive orders from Biden and from Trump that raise everyone's benefits up 15% nationally between now and December. I have seen some DMs from people saying that some governors were vowing to end it. I don't think that's true. The SNAP increase 15% is an executive order, and I don't think a state can undo a federal executive order. But I'd love to hear more about that. If that has happened to you, send me a DM. So there you go. Congratulations. You are killing it. $15,000, $16,000 for SNAP for a family 4 out of Boston, $5,000 for rent, and we're only 13 minutes in this video. Well, we got more money. It's coming right now. It's coming from your state. States have been ordered to refund back that overpayment of unemployment due to computer error by the federal government. Federal government has ordered them to return it. Where's the landing direct deposit? Can you track it? Yeah, call up your state and say, hey, state, where's that check to do overpayment of computer error? And can you track a computer that actually works this time? And finally, the last wonderful pot of money, the refund check back from IRS for that 2020 taxes. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. Now, we have a big update from IRS. They indicate to us that a new wave of checks went out this week. Average payout, $1,265. Direct deposits start July 14th. Paper checks July 16th. There'll be a new wave of these refund checks every week. So if you're at the beach and you see the IRS and you want to, no, we're not going to do that. Now, if you're in the live chat and you have not posted your rent, your utilities, or your SNAP success stories, please do. Three wonderful things come from this. Viewers helping viewers. Number one, when you post it, it inspires other people to go get it. If you see 20, 30 people in the chat of a couple thousand people saying, I got this money, then you realize, wait a second, I'll go get the money. Number two, it inspires someone to get multiple sums of money. Like when you see Art Sullivan in the live chat who got 3 items, or Nisi who got 3 items, or people who got 2 items, you realize, wait a second, I can get 2 more items. I can get 3 at least, so go get it. Then it gives us an update about the money and when people are getting things. We see these big sums of money and we realize bigger payouts are coming. All right, the refund check from IRS. How much, where, when? Let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You pay $5,000 of taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. You're getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yeah. About 70% of the time you can. Go to irs.gov and do a transcript search. It'll reveal the tax return you filed, the taxes you paid. It'll reveal stuff you never knew. It'll reveal some stuff you don't want to know. It'll reveal some stuff you wish you had never heard. It'll reveal. When Mitch was on Star Search, did he do the spokesperson contest talking about the virtues of the city of San Francisco? And who did his hairstyle? And finally, it revealed the tax return check you're getting back from IRS. Can we top that? I don't know if I could top that visual of Mitch with that hairstyle. But yeah, we can't top that. As we go into the second part of your fourth stimulus check update 2021 starting right now. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you under forced stimulus. This is done, folks. You're getting $3.5 trillion of checks in the forced stimulus. There's an agreement that there's a price tag, and there's an agreement it's getting passed. No, there's no check to go buy a new Lamborghini, and there's no check to go buy a house. This is stimulus. A lot of people think people can get entitled to certain things. There is no check to go buy a new Ming vase either. But I'm getting these comments where people are like, I need the checks to go buy a car. Okay, yeah, well, and the price is right. Yeah, I don't know what stimulus check pays for a car. Maybe the Yugo. I don't know. There you go. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you. And that deal is absolutely deliciousness. How is that done? Because the recon initially was too big, and they took roads and bridges out of it, shrinking the recon and now making it passable. If you're with me in the month of June and July, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi had represented the final vote would be by July 4th. They couldn't get it done because at the time the real roads and bridges were in the recon. They pulled their Democratic caucus and they said, we're not voting in favor of it. That's why you can get a check, because they wouldn't pass it, because roads and bridges were not in there. Now that they shrunk the roads and the recon, taking roads and bridges out, putting it into the bipartisan, and now made it passable. And it has been passed. As to the price tag and as to the subject matter, the confirmation comes from a conservative publication, a beautiful op-ed. The higher the price tag was on the recon before, the harder it was to pass. There you go, confirmation. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the recon, put in the bipartisan roads and bridges, the overall price tag of the recon bill block got smaller, obviously. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable. Sorry, Mitch, sorry to set you up. That's how it happened. But ironically, Mitch is not upset about it because the Republicans love the bipartisan and say it's going for a vote this week. Yeah, that's coming up. Stay with me. I told you that file 50 and file 7's big. Once they had shrunk the recon and took those roads and bridges out, then they were able, the progressives, to put a little bit more back in and get the biggest price tag they wanted. And they got it, $3.5 trillion. Before that, they had talked about the importance of a big price tag. Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat, Minnesota, progressive. We have to have a recon that goes as far as we want it. You got it, Elon. $3.5 trillion. Congratulations. Representative Richie Torres, Democrat, New York, progressive. That we need a larger reconciliation. You got it, Richie. Congratulations, $3.5 trillion. And the Progressive Caucus was meeting with the White House daily to ensure they were getting a big enough recon. You got it. Congratulations, $3.5 trillion. How do we get to this spot? Because the president had told the progressives to protect the recon. Why? Because everything in the recon is checks for you of progressive ideology. The White House considers the progressive priorities in the recon its own priorities, said Brian Schatz, Democrat out of Hawaii, and Jalapal, Democrat out of Washington. Well, there you go. Let's go over what a recon is, how it gets voted on, when you see it, and one of the other terminologies you need to know go into this new week. When I use the words recon and bipartisan, that's pretty easy for you and I, but the problem is that the president uses other words, and so does some of the mainstream media. What are these other words for the same thing? You need to know them, so when you hear them, you don't get confused. Trust me, the first time I heard them, I got confused. I said, which one is that? Recon is also short for reconciliation. That's pretty easy. But it also has another name. Budget bill. Yeah, that's a little bit different language. Budget bill is also reconciliation. You recognize it by the price tag, though. That's easy. 3.5 trillion, the big number. And the people quoting the article about the recon, Bernie Sanders-ish people. Then the bipartisan, that's easy. What is it also called? Infrastructure. Yeah, that's a very different word than bipartisan. Bipartisan is also infrastructure. Also roads and bridges. You recognize it by its price tag, which that is also easy. 1.5 trillion, much, much smaller, about one-third the size. The people quoting the article, Kristen Sinema, Democrat, Mitt Romney, Lisa Murkowski, Ron Portman, all Republicans. Let's go over how they do a recon, who writes a recon, and how it gets finished. First, a recon, a reconciliation, is a bill. There's both a procedural recon and a substantive. I'm just going to go over the substantive one. The substantive recon is written in subcommittees of the House as the lead authors, with a set of subcommittees helping them. They're both Democrats with Democrats. Under the Constitution, different subcommittees are delegated different subject matters for writing bills. House Ways and Means are responsible for writing stimulus checks and unemployment benefits. When those subcommittees are done, let's say it's 10 subcommittees, with 10 pages they wrote, they send it up to Chuck Schumer. And at that point, Chuck puts a big S on it. Not for Schumer, for Senate. Combine the 10 of 10 to make 100 pages, and that is your reconciliation bill. At that point, you see the bill. Later in this video, I'm going to go over with you. That is not the finality whatsoever. Because you have at least 4 steps after that in which other Democrats can modify it, and they've already indicated they will modify stuff. So that is not a finality, and that is not the etched in stone closing the casket on the story. No, absolutely not. It's just the debut of the bill. But what do we see before that? Nothing. Just like a pop singer who has an upcoming album, she does not want to release the songs if she doesn't want you to see them. Maybe she'll give you one song as a pre-release, but the other 11 tracks she's not going to release. She wants to keep them quiet. That's what Democrats are doing with this. No particular reason. They just want sort of the excitement of the moment. And mainstream media confirms with me as well. So we do not have the recon until we actually see it. There's no constitutional requirement that they show you the voting, what they're taking in, what they're taking out, or what they've written so far. You see it when it has that big S on it. To which the following negative naysayer comment is totally factually incorrect. I haven't heard of anything in the recon about. No, you haven't heard it because you haven't seen it. We have an emoji for this. Not bill yet, and also not law yet. Remember, we don't have the bill, and even when we see the bill, there's room to change it. How do we get to this wonderful spot? From Jalapal, who had written a letter to Schumer, saying Chuck called a vote on the recon. The letter was signed by 12 House Democrats, part of 100 plus, who had written the president a letter earlier before that, saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow, now that's exciting news. Can we top that? We can. As 7 members of that House Ways and Means subcommittee, the one you were just mentioning, yep, that one, wrote the president a letter saying we're going to be putting monthly fourth stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Monthly? Yep, they said that. Wow, we got to hold them to that promise. Absolutely. They also wrote your third stimulus recon, and they represent they're doing a fifth stimulus recon as well. Boy, that's exciting. Can we top that? We can. 5 weeks ago today, the president went overseas to have a ceremonial signature. That ceremonial signature was just ceremonial. The actual formal signature was this week. And that actual formal signature was for a tongue twister. He signed into law the global international corporate tax rate minimum. Oh my goodness, that's a tongue twister. This is huge, wonderful, big, great news for fourth stimulus recon for the very simple purpose of it's a confusing thing and it's not in the recon, making it easier past the recon. Why is it great news that the global minimum corporate tax rate minimum, exhausting, is not in the fourth stimulus recon? One, it's easier to write the recon because that exhausting thing is not in there. It's easier to call the vote on the recon because that exhausting thing is not in there. It's easier to vote on the recon because that confusing thing is not in there. And it's easier to pass the fourth stimulus recon because that confusing thing ain't in there. Yes. And can we top that? We can. In the final 15 of the final 7, we go over the final 15 minutes of this video in which there's a ton of breaking news coming up this week and also breaking today. We're going to go over the bills, the dates, the votes, the backup plans, whether they are or are not backup plans. A lot of things you need to know. And so sit back and get ready to digest this swarm of information. It's going to be a lot. It may be overwhelming for some people, but I'm going to try to make it as easy and breezy as you can understand it. First up is a preview of fifth stimulus this fall, and we had some exciting news on Wall Street as well. But something also exciting, the volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, internet, or SNAP, and you've had problems finding it and things like mortgage and homeowners utilities, reach out to the volunteers. Open this description, go down the description, find an emoji at the house, click that link, it sends you over to the community page, news.lalate.com/community. The volunteers will help you get that money. And I'll be back in 60 seconds with the huge final 15 of the final 7. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Afternoons LA as we crash into the final 15 of the final 7 with a surfing amount of news. I'm excited for you to join me, and how are you? Boy, what an exciting big afternoon's final 15 and final 7. A lot of breaking news of what is happening next week. And also coming up is fifth stimulus. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. You don't want to miss a single video across the board. Don't forget to subscribe. Also, like this video. 3,000 likes and consider becoming a member. Meantime, coming up later in this video is a preview of the new programming schedule on this channel. Let's cut right to fifth stimulus with a preview of that this fall. The President of the United States had promised you an incredible lift of your benefits during the campaign trail. He did not deliver it, so now the Democrats are taking care of it with that SSI reform in fifth stimulus. This will work the following way. First, they'll raise your benefits limits up. They'll remove the asset limit, add an inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. How does this work? First, for who is this for? You. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, SSA, or multiple beneficiaries, you get this lift, a one big time lift. And this would likely start in about October, November. Legislation would start drafting in September and the final vote by October, November. Then right after that, they apply the benchmark for next year's benefits. That benchmark will be applied in December for next year. What is the new benchmark? Inflation. How high is it going? As high as it's going to reach this year, yes. Jay Powell, your head of the Federal Reserve, testified last week and the same the month before and said that inflation is going to be transitory. What does transitory mean? It's a fancy word for temporary. It means it's going to go to a temporary spike in December and then go back down. Perfect timing, because that's exactly when they apply your benchmark. How high is it going to go? 5% is what I said, and now Wall Street is saying it's the same thing. Yes, this is great news. But is the impact of the bad labor numbers on Thursday, Or the confusing numbers about the falling Treasury yields on Monday and Tuesday with the 10-year Treasury note. Are they impacting this at all? No. Here's what you need to know, is that inflation is gauged upon cost of goods sold. So in a given month, we have numbers like the consumer price index and the producer price index we look at to understand how high prices are going. I've always said you can figure these out yourself. You can go at the supermarket and see, did eggs and milk go up since last month, or are they same as last month? We all know they went up in the last few months, but are they still going up? Is gasoline still going up? If you think things are going up in price, inflation's going up. Interest rates are different. They're gauged based upon how much and robustness of the growth in this economy there is. And then finally, labor departments gauge really unemployment issues, which is not really directly on point with inflation. So first they'll raise your benefits up one big lift, and then they'll apply the benchmark. And if it's 5%, your benefits will step up 5%, not just next year, lifetime. Wow. Then they'll remove and then if your benefits stay up 5% lifetime, if the inflation rate is 1% the year after that, you'll be a +5 +1%. Incredible, great news. Then they're going to move the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. It's going to go away. They're going to move the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits, and the marriage penalty is going to go away. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. You'll no longer fear a loss of benefits and no longer be penalized by the marriage penalty. If you're in the live chat and you wonder how those people are getting that purple emoji next to their name, they're becoming members. The link is under the video where it says join here. By becoming a member, you're getting access to the incredible information of where this money is. Third stimulus has a fortune for you. When second stimulus passed, and this is $600 stimulus check, I said, I'll get you $6,000. I got viewers like Tyrone, $15,000. When third stimulus passed, there was a $1,400 stimulus check earlier this year. I said, I'll get you $14,000. In the last 40 hours, you've seen $18,000, $17,000, $20,000, $15,000. Viewers are getting a lot more money. So consider becoming a member so that all this information is delivered from me to you daily from the community page on YouTube. So you see the big money that's available for third stimulus. And then when fourth stimulus passes, I'm going to ensure that you get every penny of $3.5 trillion, which brings us into the final 15 of the final 7 starting right now. Here are the final 15 minutes of this video with the critical final 7 days potentially of the fourth stimulus battle. So first, recon, deal, done. It's important for you to know you're getting $3.5 trillion of checks. It's all checks, and it's all for you. Two wonderful things about this. One, the fact that they have a deal, and second, the price. First, the fact they have a deal. Senator Tim Kaine says this is critical because that really just teed up the fact that now they're passing it. Once you agree upon a price tag, you've essentially agreed to pass the recon. So it's a done deal. All they have to do is call the vote, and we're done for the recon for at least to start. Then, the very fascinating issue is the price tag. It's huge. It's a behemoth. Bernie Sanders went into the negotiations asking for $7 trillion, agreed to 3.5, walked out celebrating, saying it's a historic day for the American economy. Why from going from 7 to 3.5? Because he said he got the same payouts just for less years. Obviously, 3.5 is half the time as 7. Great, great news. So what are those checks? Remember, we don't see the recon until we see that bill with that S on it, not for Schumer. And we have a preview of some of the other items that are in the recon. Here we go. Checks for free school meals for all, checks for tax breaks, checks for cheaper prescription medication, checks for immigration reforms, checks for farmers, checks for elections, checks for free internet. They're going to be giving fortunes to local cities so that you can have free internet from your local city. Checks for clean energy, and here come my checks for my seniors and my checks for my workers. First, the workers. Checks for workers, checks for unions, checks for collective bargaining, checks for independent contractors, and here come my seniors. Checks for seniors, checks for Medicare expansion, checks for lowering eligibility, checks for dental, checks for vision, and checks for hearing care. Wow, that is just some of them. Let's go over to the bipartisan, the infrastructure. Mitt Romney a week ago said that he thought, 2 weeks ago, said that he thought that the bipartisan roads and bridges deal provisions would be finished and called for a vote the end of this last week. I said it's not. I said it was too wishful thinking, and I was right. Mainstream media said the same. We both said that we thought that the vote on the bipartisan roads and bridges would be this coming week. Well, in a second, you're going to hear it is. Incredible, great news. Mitt Romney says that they're very close on actually finalizing this. What happened this week? Chuck Schumer called a vote. What did he call a vote on? He called a vote on something concerning the bipartisan, the roads and bridges, not our money, the roads and bridges. What was the vote for? It was to end discussion and negotiations of the bipartisan. Not a vote on the bill, just to end discussion on it within a few days thereafter. I said it was not going to pass. It did not pass, but it worked. What did it work, do magic with? It got the Republicans to really move up and get moving and get going. And at the same time that the vote was failing, guess what happened? Ron Portman, Senator, Republican, delivered to Chuck Schumer a letter signed by 12 Senate Democrats saying the bipartisan roads and bridges is ready for a vote this coming week. Yes. Final 7. Here we go. They confirm, those Republicans, that the bipartisan roads and bridges will be ready for a vote this coming week. Oh my goodness. Why is this huge news for us? Series of reasons. If you've been with this channel for the last few weeks, you certainly know the reasons. Number one, the recon has to go for a vote before the bipartisan. Our money, recon has to go for a vote before the bipartisan. Nancy and Chuck have all confirmed that's the way it's being done. So the great news is that if the bipartisan is going for a vote next week, well, then certainly our recon is. Number two, we had seen from Nancy and Chuck statements that said you cannot just call a vote on the recon, comments a few weeks ago, not this week, but a few weeks ago. You cannot just call a vote on the recon without the bipartisan ready for a vote as well. So you can't leave the bipartisan by the side of the road and get to it in December and just do the recon now. Those are comments a few weeks ago. Yeah, stay with me. I have a new wrinkle to that. Well, this is huge, great news. Now, what is my thought of the process? Well, when gauging assurances from Ron Portman versus gauging assurances from Mitt Romney, who would I bet my money more on? Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney has been very true to bone since I've been covering him from day one on this channel. I've made a gazillion recordings about him and a gazillion recordings about Ron Portman. When Mitt Romney says a date, it usually gets done. He works very fast. He writes very fast. And he's a guy who really gets things done, even in tense moments. In second stimulus, you've seen those videos on this channel where I talked about Toomey was about to blow up second stimulus, and he's a Republican. Mitt came in and just smoothed it out and got it done. He's very good at that. Ron Portman, on the other hand, he has a bad track record, at least with this channel. Ron Portman is the guy who in summer of last year, when the pandemic was out of control, like June and July, said as to extending unemployment benefits, you're lazy, get back to work in July of last year when you're losing your home and everything. So he has not had a good track record. Would I put my belief in a Mitt Romney before a Ron Portman? Yes. Okay. So now let's go to, is there a backup plan? Is there not? And is there another backup plan? Okay, this is weird. So there's a conservative publication that put out an article just 2 days ago said that there is a backup plan by the Democrats. I do not believe this article. I will tell you another article that is from a mainstream media print publication, and it details a different backup plan, and that one I believe. So what does the first article say? The conservative publication, which generally runs very negative Biden articles, says that the Democrats believe that the Republicans may be setting them up for next week and not getting anything done, the Republicans, and that the Democrats are ready with a backup plan B. Up to that point, I believe the article is correct. I think that the Democrats certainly are cautious of the Republicans, that the Republicans have a history over the last 20-something years of saying, I'm working on it, I'm working on it. Check the clock. Are we out of time? Are we almost out of time? And then the clock runs out, and then the Democrats are left with nothing. I believe that part of the article is correct. I don't think the next part of the article is correct, and it's this. The article in the conservative publication claims that the Democrats' plan B is to, drumroll, put the roads and bridges back in the recon. What? No, that's just not believable. ball. I do not think the Democrats are putting the roads and bridges back in the bipartisan, because we just went through this whole exercise over the last 3 weeks where they said the Democrats would not vote in favor of the recon with the roads and bridges in there. So why would they put them back in there? I just don't see that happen. All right, so I'm saying no to that part of that article. To this next article, I'm saying yes. Another article starts the same way, ironically. Says the Democrats are cautious about the Republicans and Ron Portman, claiming that the vote will be for the bipartisan in this coming week, and that the Democrats don't know if that's a true representation. They've gotten these assurances before. Maybe they just don't. Yeah, they're not friends of Ron Portman. It's hard to be friends with Ron Portman. So there you go. So what does the article go on to say? It says that Chuck Schumer has done a backup plan. Okay, so this is a different plan B. What does this plan B say? This one, I believe, it claims that Chuck Schumer has pulled in all his Senate Democrats to say, listen, we may not see these Republicans get this infrastructure done this following week, and we can't keep on waiting around anymore. Would you agree to call the vote on the recon now and just say, hey, I put every effort I could in with this bipartisan. I just can't wait any longer. And allegedly, according to the article, every single Senate Democrat, even the most problematic ones, you know which ones I'm referring to, said, yes, Chuck, just go and call the recon for a vote this coming week. Yes! That despite what may happen with the bipartisan, that Chuck is ready to just zoom right ahead and call a vote on the recon. He's not going to let the recon sit around because the bipartisan. Yes. So, boy, there is no official confirmation verbally about this second plan B. So, and you would never see that. This is a very sort of caucusing, quiet behind doors negotiation thing. They're not going to tell you what they're doing, but I find it fascinating. I think this is where we're going. As you see, a lot of possibilities for this week. Recap. Number one, you're getting $3.5 trillion of checks. So for anyone that sort of jumps in the comments and says, I don't know if I'm going to get a check, I've said about 5,000 times in the video. You're getting $3.5 trillion of checks on the fourth stimulus recon. If you don't want them, I think I'm going to start a list. If you don't want $3.5 trillion of checks, mark your name off the list right here, and the rest of us will take the $3.5 trillion of checks. There's just, if you don't want it, we'll take the $3.5 trillion of checks. Number two, whatever happened with July 4th is July 4th. I mean, things get modified and changed. You have to understand that legislators have opinions, and not every legislator agrees the same way. There are some Democrats that were not going to send you something in July by July 4th because it had too big a recon. Now that they've solved their problems, they claim everything is now solved and ready to go out. Number two, finally, this one, which is perhaps the most important one in this video. When you see that recon bill with an S on it when it's finally revealed, that is not the final day. The recon can get modified down to the last step. And in fact, House Democrats confirmed over this at the end of this week and this weekend, they're modifying whatever they get from the Senate. Even though they've been involved in all this drafting process, how do I explain this? They're not in the subcommittees. They're not subcommittee members. And so they're ready to modify. So when you see that recon, you may like it, you may not like it. There may be something in there. There may be something not in there. They can modify it on the Senate level. Then when it gets to the House members have already said they're changing things. And then it may likely go back to a vote-a-rama at the Senate for 2 more days after that, and they can change it again. So you have to push down to the final minute. This is not a wake up and look and then close the book story. The story is far from over. It's not law yet. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Oh, wait, stop the music. I forgot something. The exciting details is that this channel is expanding. And I have seen that in adding an extra Afternoons LA show, a rerun right before this one at 1 o'clock, you've been loving it. So what you're going to see this channel expand to in the month of August is programming literally almost every hour to 2 hours on the time slot. So certainly we currently have a big space between early mornings LA at 4 a.m. and mornings LA at 9 a.m., nearly 5 hours apart there. And you see some other big spaces. So you're going to see new shows in those time slots and some of your favorite shows brought back. So you'll literally go every hour, every 2 hours with shows across 24 hours of this channel. And of course, the return of new sirloin programs. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers on YouTube. Record on what you put on this channel. Hit that subscribe button. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Coming up next is Evenings LA at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. It's a new show today. And then Overnight's Crypto and Sirloin at 8 o'clock tonight. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful day, and stay with LA for more.